This is the Positive EQ Perspective, where you'll find a more positive outlook on life by developing your emotional intelligence. My name is Kirsty Gwynn. I'm a coaching psychologist and speaker, and I'm passionate about helping people to experience more calm, contentment, and joy every day. Is there something you've been dreaming of doing, but you find yourself lacking in self-belief? And this goal is important to you, but you find yourself questioning whether you've got what it takes, or second guessing your next step. And maybe that leads to you holding back on that goal or really taking the actions that you want to see yourself taking. You really want to put yourself out there and move in the direction of your dream, but maybe you find yourself overthinking what the best way to do things is, or feeling uncertain and really stopping or holding off from going all in. So today I'm going to share with you 3 steps to believe that you can achieve your goal, and you'll be able to work through these steps in order to experience more self-belief at the end of today. So I developed these 3 steps after learning about them, the different counterparts of hope, when I was studying my master's in positive psychology and coaching. And I've always been absolutely fascinated by what helps us to feel more hopeful about the future. Because at its heart, to feel hopeful really means that we're able to believe in a future that is better than today, and we believe that we can make that future happen. And in this way, hope can almost be thought of as the opposite of anxiety or fear. Because if you think about it, when you're anxious or you're afraid, you worry that the future will be worse than now, right? Or you worry that it's going to stay the same if you aren't happy with how things are currently. But if you're hopeful, you're really feeling more secure in this idea that the future can be brighter than the present, that it can be good, that it can be better than now, and you also are able to believe that you have some sort of role in making that happen. It's really the opposite of feeling out of control and feeling worried about a negative outcome. So since the biggest obstacle to achieving our goal is anxiety or fear, any goal that you set actually needs to be designed to reduce anxiety and to increase its opposite, hope. And hope is therefore essential when it comes to believing in ourselves. It's really the foundation of self-belief. And so that's what we're going to look at increasing today. So step 1 is to get crystal clear on the outcome that you're trying to achieve. In order for you to believe in yourself, you need to know what sort of benefit or outcome you actually want. Are you hoping to sign 3 new clients for your business? Do you want to figure out what your ideal job is? Or maybe you're hoping to meet someone and to get into a relationship. If you're unclear about what you want, that's inevitably going to trigger a lot of anxiety about the future. And so it's really important to spend some time getting clear about this. It's hard, if not impossible, to move towards a goal when we aren't sure what sort of outcome we're trying to achieve. Your brain needs to feel clear about what you're trying to accomplish so that it has some sort of destination to head towards and some sort of way of measuring your progress towards your goal and being able to then reward you, right, for taking certain actions and to know like, oh, we're actually progressing. Whereas if we're unclear about what we want, some things that we might find is that our actions seem unfocused or we can't stay consistent. Now, I know that it's a lot easier said than done to just say, okay, gotta figure out what I want. You've probably been trying to figure out exactly what you want. And what I find helpful here and what's key to understand is that you don't actually need to feel 100% sure. The indecision in itself is more of a problem than anything. The indecision will stop you believing in yourself more than anything else. So start by choosing some sort of outcome that reasonably that you want, even if you can't be sure that it's right for you. Just remember that nothing's permanent. You can always go back and change your mind, right? But you won't be able to believe in yourself if your brain doesn't have a destination in mind. So this was something that was really key for me. And a lack of clarity is a big trigger of anxiety and fear for me, and something that really holds me back. And so I've really learned how important it is to make sure that I am clear about what I want. I'm so passionate about positive psychology and emotional intelligence, and I knew that I wanted to work in that field and to be teaching it in some way, and helping people to develop emotional intelligence and to feel more calm and content. But I ended up at one point really paralyzing myself with this lack of clarity of where exactly I wanted that to be. I thought it sounded great to work in the mental health space. I thought it also sounded great to work in schools, right, or to work with children. And I kind of saw all these different avenues of the corporate sector, etc. And I, just because I wasn't clear about what area and what outcome I wanted to achieve in that area, I ended up not seeing myself taking much action at all, because my actions were very sporadic. And it was only after I decided, there is no perfect choice, and what I really want to do is actually be making a difference in some space, and I decided to start experimenting, that I then was able to believe in myself a lot more and to be a lot more consistent, to stop overthinking things, etc. Right? So just making a decision, even if you tell yourself it's an experiment or you're doing it for now, can be really valuable. The next step to building your self-belief is to come up with at least 4 ways to achieve that outcome. So research on hope and self-belief shows that it's easier to believe in ourselves when we don't have all of our eggs in one basket, so to speak. If you bank on just one way of achieving your goal, then the stakes feel pretty high, right? If this route fails, it can feel like you failed completely, and that is bound to create a lot of anxiety and emotional pain. But if you have some sort of backup actions, you're going to be able to continue believing in yourself even if some of the things that you try don't work out. And that's a part of life, right? Inevitably, some things might not work out. And so we want to not be rigid about following that specific action. We want to be able to be flexible. So thinking of step 1, right? So step 1 being the getting clear about what you want. We can imagine that this is the destination, whereas step 2 is the how, right? The different routes that we could take to arrive at that same destination, right? And what we see in the research is that this enables us to be a lot more resilient, because we see multiple actions that we can take to achieve that outcome that we feel clear about. So some examples that I'll kind of follow on from what I shared in the previous section. If your goal is to figure out what work you enjoy, right, just brainstorming a number of different actions that you could take to achieve that goal. And you might come up with things like seeing a coach, right, but also recognizing, well, I could do job shadowing, I could do volunteering, I could take a strengths assessment. Now we already have 4 different things that we could try. So if one doesn't work out, we can still maintain our confidence and our self-belief. If our goal is to sign 3 more clients for our business, we might say, okay, well, I can do this maybe through speaking events, through online advertising, through referrals, through partnerships, through putting myself out there on social media, right? That's already 5 actions that we can take. And then if your goal is to find a partner, right, instead of kind of keeping all your eggs in that dating app or online dating basket, we might say, okay, well, what are more ways that I can achieve this goal? Perhaps telling friends that you're open to blind dates, attending maybe meetups, depending on how the pandemic situation is in your country and what you're allowed to do. If it's possible to kind of, join things like a hiking group if you're interested in hiking or something like that, or doing a course and being open to speaking to other people can be a great option. Practicing getting comfortable starting conversations with people in person, right? Having these different routes means that we're less likely to feel hopeless and more likely to maintain our self-belief. Our final step, step 3, is to consider how your unique strengths and skills can help you to achieve your goal. often the truth is we just don't give ourselves enough credit. Right? We can get pretty focused on all the different ways that we think that we're lacking. Right? I'm not this enough. I don't have enough of that in order to achieve this goal. Right? The human brain is naturally pretty negative. But I have no doubt that you have some awesome qualities and skills that can help you get to where you want to go. And the key is to be intentional about zooming in on those qualities and those skills and paying more attention to them. In order to believe in yourself, you need to be paying attention to the good, strong aspects of you that you're bringing to the situation, and consider what unique skills and strengths that you have that could help you to reach that goal. So you might ask yourself, what skills and knowledge do I already possess that can help me to achieve this goal? What personality traits do I have that can help me achieve my goal? And if you're stuck on this, you can always ask a loved one, right? A friend, a partner, a family member. Ask them, right? Often someone with a bit of external perspective can provide you with guidance on this. And then asking yourself, is there anything that I could learn that might help me to feel better equipped, right? As that's one way also to facilitate our self-belief. When you're clear on what you want, see multiple ways of achieving your goal, and you're keeping your skills and strengths in mind, you'll find you're able to believe in yourself more. And that self-belief will help you to get to where you want to be. Well, that's it from me. Thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Every subscriber counts, and it helps this information to reach more people. Thank you, and I'll see you next week on the Positive EQ Perspective. If you're looking to calm negative thoughts, accept yourself, and live joyfully, then you need my free roadmap to overcome negative thinking. You'll discover 7 steps to follow, as well as 3 mistakes most people make trying to improve their mindset and life that only make things worse. Visit positiveeq.com/free. That's positiveeq.com/free.